The following video contains explicit references to bot stuff and cheating. If bot stuff or cheating makes you feel uncomfortable, then you should discontinue watching this video. The content of this video is not appropriate for children and may leave them with questions about bot stuff you are not ready to answer. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello Procrastubators, it's Zads. Welcome to another episode of Procrasturbate Tech. Today we're going to look at something a little more cheeky, if you will. We're looking at the Adafruit Cheekmate wireless haptic feedback system, or communication system actually. For those of you who don't follow tech very much and certainly don't follow chess, I admit I don't follow chess at all. There's been a bit of a scandal brewing in the chess community where a chess grandmaster by the name of Hansen has accused a fellow chess grandmaster named Hans Niemann? I think I'm getting that wrong, but anyway, a guy named Hans of cheating. How, you might ask? Well, apparently using vibrating anal beads. Although so far there hasn't been any, evidence to support that claim, it hasn't stopped the media from, getting on board and throwing accusations around, because sex sells and anal sex certainly sells. All right, so we're not here today to discuss exactly what happened, and we're certainly not here to throw around any accusations. What we're here to do is to have a look at a piece of tech that Adafruit Industries from New York City have come up with. So Adafruit decided to take it upon themselves to see if it is indeed possible to make a wireless haptic communication system using existing off-the-shelf technology. Admittedly, it is technology that they build, so it is a bit of a sales thing, but still, it is interesting to see. They did put it together and they did decide to test it. Unfortunately, they only tested it using a piece of pork butt and not, a real butt. But that's fine. Not everyone's into that. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to build this particular project, but I'm going to put a little bit of a spin on it myself. What I want to do is I want to put a bit of a spin on this, and I want to see if you can actually fit all of these electronics into an actual butt plug, something like this. I have chosen these really, really high quality ones, which I got off Amazon, and they even come with, a beautiful little sparkly thing on the end. Because of course, you want your butt to look pretty. Anyway, the reason I want to do that is because Adafruit decided to try and do it in cola bottle preforms, something similar to these. Now, I was thinking of doing exactly the same thing, but the reason I chose not to is because Adafruit received quite a bit of feedback regarding their implementation, and fairly so, about the fact that these bottle preforms don't have a flanged end. Now, you might be thinking, if you're somebody who's, not a bottom, why does that matter? Well, look, okay, admittedly, this is a very, very, very big preform, so yeah, that's probably not going to go that far inside me, but sorry. What you might be wondering you need the flanged base for is so this doesn't go too far north. So if you used something similar to this, there's nothing really stopping you from, popping it out and it going much further north than it needs to, and you having an awkward time explaining to the lovely nurse in ED what you're doing with some homemade electronics up your backside. So, as I said, I'm going to try and fit it into, not this butt plug, this one's probably a bit petite, but I'm going to look at putting it in a butt plug nonetheless. So, without any further ado, let's go. For this little project, you're going to require a few parts. So the parts we're going to need today are the Adafruit QT Pi ESP32S2 Wi-Fi development board, the Adafruit LiPoly charger best friends forever add-on for the QT Pi, some sort of 400 milliamp 3.7 volt LiPo battery, an Adafruit DRV2605L haptic motor controller and a vibrating motor disc to go with it, and a 4-pin JST cable. In Australia, I ordered all of my parts through Core Electronics, and no, they didn't sponsor this video at all. You should be able to find most of these parts from any good hobbyist electronics store or online directly through Adafruit. The only part that really needs any soldering are the QT Pi and the LiPoly Charger BFF. So all you need to do is solder them back to back using the included pin headers. Once that's done, we'll just give it a quick clean using some ISO alcohol. And then after that, what we need to do is solder the vibrating motor disc to the haptic motor controller and then connect them both together using the 4-pin cable. At this stage you can also connect the battery if you want, and you can even give it a quick charge over USB. Alright, so the assembly for that project wasn't exactly difficult, which is great. So what we need to move on to next is getting the software on there. So there are two methods in which you can load the software onto it. You can either do it using something called CircuitPython, which is dead simple. In fact, it's, like dropping files onto a USB stick. Or the more slightly involved method is doing it through the Arduino IDE. Now, I would have loved to have gone with CircuitPython. Unfortunately, I have Kaspersky installed on my computer. Yes, I know it's Russian. I don't need to know. But yes, I have Kaspersky on my computer, and apparently some CircuitPython devices will not show up in Windows if you are using Kaspersky as your system security solution. I'm not uninstalling Kaspersky just to deal with that. So I went down the Arduino route. It was actually, it was probably a little more involved than I like, but I'll show you why that is, because I had to install a whole heap of dependencies into the IDE to get it to upload properly. It's been a while since I've used Arduino, and usually I use clones of the genuine stuff that the IDE has built in. So yeah, my fault. Anyway, we get there. I'll show you all the tricks and all the quirks that you need to. What we need to do is we need to download the software off the Adafruit website. I've put a link in the description which contains both their instructions on how to build this, as well as both the CircuitPython and the Arduino code. Following me today, you will be doing the Arduino way. Otherwise, have a look on that Instructable on how to do it through CircuitPython. All right, let's get the software on there. If you haven't got one already, you're going to need an account at io.adafruit.com. So go ahead and set one of those up. Once you've set that up and logged in, you're going to need to create a brand new feed. So we'll click on New Feed. I'm just going to call mine Cheekmate. So once that's created, we're going to need a dashboard. So click on the link for dashboards and new dashboard. I'm just going to call mine Cheekmate dashboard. So we'll select Cheekmate dashboard and we're going to click edit dashboard. The only thing here we need is a text field. So we will click on the little cog menu on the right, then click create new block. What we need here is a text block. So create one of those and we want to connect that to our Cheekmate feed. I'm just going to call mine message text. Now, if you like, you can click on that cog menu again and then hit edit layout and you can change the size of the block. Now, once we've done that, you're going to have to note down your Adafruit IO key. So click on the little key in yellow in the top right corner. Now, remember, don't hand out this key to anybody. This is private. Note that down somewhere for use later. Now we've done that, we're going to have to download the Arduino code files. So let's go ahead and do that. There is a link in the description to the Adafruit page for the Cheekmate, and about 3/4 of the way down the page is the link to the Arduino code. We'll just extract that. Now I've extracted that, what I'm going to do in advance is I'm going to go into config.h and I'm going to make the necessary changes. In here, you need the SSID of the Wi-Fi you want to connect to, as well as the Wi-Fi password. You will also need your username for your io.adafruit account, as well as that key that we got earlier. You'll also need the name of the feed owner, which will be your username, and the name of the feed itself, which is Cheekmate in my case. Okay, the next thing, we're going to open the project in Arduino IDE. Open both Cheekmate and the config.h. Now, to get this to actually work properly, I needed to download a whole bunch of libraries. The first one I needed to download was Adafruit DRV2605 library. As well as Adafruit IO. And of course NeoPixel, since this project actually uses that. I also had to add some additional sources for the ESP32 chip. You can find instructions online on how to do that. And then I had to install the ESP32 board. Once I had all the prerequisites installed, I hit the upload button and the project started compiling. Before hitting upload, make sure you have connected your QT-Pi to your computer via USB-C, and also make sure that you selected the right device. Once it's uploaded, the device should connect straight to your Wi-Fi. It'll indicate this by vibrating exactly once, and then you should be able to go into the dashboard and start sending messages through it. Okay, so the software is now on there. We set up everything in Adafruit IO so we can actually communicate with the device. And I've got it working on my home Wi-Fi connection. So yeah, as you can see, it actually works quite well. It seems to be receiving the signals, and it's certainly turning those signals into vibrations. So that's always good. One little concern that I have is it's a very, very small little haptic motor. I'm kind of curious whether or not the silicon of a butt plug is going to absorb all of those vibrations. So yeah, I guess we will see in a moment whether that's going to be a problem. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to get out the arts and crafts. I'm going to cut this butt plug in half, and I'm going to, well, try and fit a battery and some circuit boards in there, as well as the vibration motor. This should be fun, but we'll get to it and I will show you what I'm doing. All right, so what we're doing now is we're going to split this little butt plug in half, and then we're just going to try and cut enough of the silicon out so we can fit the battery and the vibrating motor. The control unit, so basically the QT Pi and the QT Pi battery connector, I'm going to put at the base because obviously we want to maximize the amount of Wi-Fi signal we can get. This probably isn't the safest or best way to do this, but yeah, here we go. You can watch me and try not to cut myself. Hey, and look at that. I did it without cutting myself more than once. Anyway, that's done. All the bits and pieces fit in there. So I'm going to do a bit of a test run and see how that vibration motor feels and see if I can get it working. So yeah, excuse the electric tape. Yeah, you'll see in a sec. Alrighty, so it works, which is fantastic. And as you saw, the vibration is quite pronounced from, the butt plug. So that's always handy to know. So what I was going to do next is I was going to reassemble the butt plug properly, and I was going to use some sort of glue to do that. Unfortunately, me not doing any research on the topic prior to this video, it turns out trying to get silicone to glue back together is really difficult. Unfortunately, I did try all the, cheap options on the internet on trying to get this back together, which was, basically use some sort of silicone-based glue or sealant. That sort of worked, although it's probably not in the best state. There are better methods to doing this, but everything that I've read involves reasonably expensive chemicals, which I'm not going to buy just to try and reassemble one of 3 butt plugs that came in a $30 pack from Amazon. It's just not worth it. So yeah, what we've ended up with is this bad boy here. It's got a bit of a seam around it. The glue has actually held fairly well, not as well as I would have liked. I think the question that's on everybody's mind at the moment is whether I'm going to try this, and I'm not sure yet. I mean, let me get this out of the way straight away. There is a lithium battery in here. That's not a great thing to be shoving up your butt, especially in a homemade device such as this. I would certainly not recommend that you guys build this and try it for yourselves. I mean, as far as, trying it for yourselves, by all means, build the circuitry. It is a fun little project. And I mean, maybe you could potentially get a butt plug mold or something and try it that way if you're, brave enough. But again, don't try it at home, because it is a lithium battery in a butt plug that you have carved up. The structural integrity of this device is probably not the best. And as I said, you don't want a lithium battery stuck up your poop chute. So whether I'll try this or not, I hesitate. If I do, or if I come up with a better method, I will probably put that in a second video. And no, I'm not going to show a video of me or anyone else shoving this up their butt. So you'll just have to take my word for it that it is where it's supposed to be. I am genuinely curious about trying it just to see if the Wi-Fi penetrates the cheeks. Yeah, there's a joke there. Anyway, other than the dodgy assembly of it, it actually works pretty well. As I said, haven't tested it to see if that signal penetrates the cheeks yet, but you can definitely feel the vibrations coming out of the butt plug. It does what's advertised. So anyway, watch out for a second video in case I do decide to give this thing a try. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to hold out for that extra video where I may or may not try it, by all means, hit the subscribe button. Still hit the subscribe button anyway, because I am starting to do a lot of little DIY electronics and tech videos, and I have a few others in the pipeline coming up soon. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.